Kabam has listened, and changes are coming to nightmare raids along with compensation. But hey! So we woke up today to some news about nightmare raids and what is going to be happening, how they're going to be changing going forward, and compensation. And I gotta say, it's pretty good. It all looks very good. This is pretty much exactly what I asked for, plus some. So let's go ahead and cover that in this post here. Says, greetings summoners. Over the past week, we've spent a lot of time gathering feedback on nightmare raids from various sources. Nightmare raids are supposed to be difficult. However, we also want them to be something that's fun, engaging, and overall less of a pain point than they currently are. Good. It's got to be fun. It's a video game. Bottom line, got to be fun. I think it's fair to say that we missed the mark on the latter half of the goal during the first iteration. We have some plans to address that and create a smoother experience for the return in round 2. Perfect. First things first, nightmare raids clearly didn't hit the standard we hold ourselves to, and we remain committed to hitting the high mark. With that said, let's talk about compensations, shall we? So, didn't hit their bugs, basically, right? So all summoners who partook in nightmare raids, whether completed or not, will be receiving the following compensation package. 180 raid tickets back. I think that was first and foremost the most obvious thing, right? Got to get our tickets back. Didn't work how it was supposed to. 1 light essence. That was the reward for finishing it. 1 Titan crystal, a jackpot in the final nightmare chest. I mean, I'd rather have 1,500 units personally, but I'm sure people will be very happy with Titan crystals. That's cool. 1 7-star crystal. That is the completion reward. 5 million gold. 2 T6 CC crystals. I think, are they selectors maybe if you actually completed it? But the crystals, you can't complain about that. I mean, you could, but please don't complain about that. 1 tier 4 alpha catalyst, and then 5,000 glory. All right, this is what I was asking for. This is what I said to in my video that I made, and this is what I said behind the scenes as well in the content creator program to Crashed and Kabam in general. And you guys, I just want you to know how much the content creators do push for the wider community. I've seen some posts or some things like on Reddit or forums discussing lately how, the content creators only care about, battlegrounds because that's their main mode and blah, blah, blah. Dude, content creators are there, and I can, without going into details, obviously, because the non-disclosure agreement, I can definitely say that people like me and your other content creators out there are fighting for this kind of stuff for the community. And so just, know that we got your backs on this kind of stuff. So this is all what I asked for. I said I was not going to be feeling made whole without getting the tickets back and getting the completion rewards for everybody. I said, go ahead, and even if you completed the rewards, give the rewards to those people twice. That seems totally fair. People spent units on this. I think the one thing this misses out on is some units, but I didn't spend units. So, also 4 units. What would you pay for a Titan crystal, 7-star crystal, gold, tier 6, 1 tier 4A? You'd think that would be still, to most of the community, valued fairly highly. If you got all of that stuff together, you might not choose to buy that if you saw that offer. But if you did spend some units on raids and getting these done, well, you got double that basically, plus, or well, not the Titan, but double the rest of it, and then a Titan, and you got your raids tickets back. So I think that is more than fair compensation. Everything I've seen so far from people talking about it in chats and stuff seems like everyone is pretty happy with that, and that is great. I'm glad that they listened to that feedback. That was not going to be the initial case, I think. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to do, how they're going to change things for round number 2, because this is very important information. Now, one final note that I would make. I saw a few people say, dang, now I wish I would have tried nightmare raids because now I'm not getting this compensation. And the thing I would say to that is, for anyone who's played the game for a long time, and I'm sure Kabam does not love this, and I don't think the player base exactly loves this either, but I would always say do the newest content when it's out, give it a shot. Because, frankly, a lot of the time, it comes out bugged. And that's the part that Kabam doesn't love, and also we don't love because we don't want, things to be bugged either. We want a bug-free game. Everybody wants a bug-free game. But the truth of the matter is, for years now, every time they release something, it's usually, not every time, but most of the time, there's something screwy with it, and we do end up getting compensation. So that's why in every alliance I've been in, every chat I'm in, on streams, I always tell people, hey, give it a shot, give it a try. Even if it doesn't work out, oftentimes there's going to be some way that they're going to make you whole for this experience, because frankly, a lot of stuff just gets released that doesn't work out on the first iteration. But okay, let's move on to talking about the second iteration of what Nightmare Raids will be. So let's talk about how we're going to make this right for round 2. The next time you see Nightmare Raids, you can expect to see the following node changes. The removal of phase nodes. Good, that's huge. There's just too much stuff going on. Fight timers increased from 3 minutes to 5 minutes. That is also good. If the goal is to hit 12% damage cap every time, that should make it easier. That should make it so that you actually have a chance to do that. I believe Simula or somebody else talked about the fact that you can't really afford to pause the fights to try and figure out why you're not doing damage or what's going on. You get 2 extra minutes. You can kind of afford to take that time to pause and figure that stuff out. Tuning adjustments to the crush penance on Apocalypse. Great. That Apocalypse fight is just absolute garbage. So that should be helping out things quite a lot. I don't know if that'll be quite enough on the Apocalypse fight. Hopefully. We'll see how it goes going forward. With the introduction of Nightmare Raids, we've realized we added too much complexity all at once. We still want to chase a higher level of difficulty for this content. Okay. But we understand that it's currently not the right type of difficulty. With that, we will be removing phase nodes for upcoming Nightmare Raids. As we're still aiming for the pinnacle of difficult AQ content, we'll be targeting an increase to defender health points as safer way to do this. Coupled with longer fight timers, summoners will be met with less complex fights alongside an avenue to ramp their attacker to deal satisfying damage. Okay, yeah, because that's a big thing. It was fun to deal big damage numbers before, and not getting them just sucks. Wasn't fun. Finally, we've heard many say that the crush passive on Apocalypse was too warping to deal with. We'll be addressing this by lowering the difficulty of the penance, likely by reducing its duration. We might move in a different direction after further testing. Okay, we'll see what that entails. As for defender changes, you can expect to see the following. Reduce Korg's Thornton's damage even more. Good. Remove Jabari Panther's Cleanse. Good. They removed it from Korg, so yeah, good to remove there. Remove Apocalypse's stun to block. That makes perfect sense, because like I had Papa Luke and you got to take block hits, and I couldn't because, you know, he'd stun me. So to do any damage. So it's no secret that Korg was a major problem this past week. Going forward, his Thorns will be given a solid bump down from his current tuning to relieve chip damage. Good. Additionally, will be found Jabari's Cleanse passive to interact poorly with too many of the roll boosts, and we feel like cutting it from her kit is the best avenue forward. Finally, Apocalypse stun into block is key RPG element in his defender kit. Yep. And we feel like it's providing adequate challenge in raids. I think it's providing a bit too much of a challenge. But just like Jabari's Cleanse, it was interfering with too many boosts that require you to block. Okay, exactly. We want to ensure that players have control over maximizing their boosts and damage, and we will be looking into them more for future updates as necessary. Good. Along with these changes, we'll also be addressing some bugs, reduction of raid boss size back to normal, Korg is becoming stun immune, certain roll boosts failing to provide raid fervor. Seeing a giant XXL defender in front of you has always been a visual aspect of fighting alliance raids, which is fun. I like it. That's cool. However, we believe this is what the primary culprit of the missed dexing timings and whiffing attacks. So that makes sense, because if you're changing like the hitbox window or the size of the character and stuff, sometimes they've discussed in the past where things will be messed up with XL characters specifically, or small characters can do different things. That's always been an issue in the game. That makes sense. Get rid of it. Just go back to their normal size for now. Particular pain point against Weapon X and Korg when you need to dodge their attacks and punish their specials. Yeah, because you couldn't get the dex one on Weapon X, and it was just annoying. We'll be shooting all raid bosses with PIM particles to shrink them back to normal until this can be properly accounted for. I really appreciate Kabamasaurus Rex, Karate Mike's sense of humor when he writes this kind of stuff. And I don't know if he's just the only one who wrote this, but like I like it. It's cheesy, but I love it. Shout out to Mike and Dave and everybody else who helps write these up. So as for Korg, he seems to be stun immune game wide, going stun immune game wide, not only in alliance raids. Okay, watch out for Corgis in war or battlegrounds or wherever, because it's going to need further investigation, but we have to find the root cause of why this is happening. Okay. Sometimes people ask too, like, why can't they find this stuff quicker? There's just so many interactions. There's so much code. There's so much stuff here. I assume that's the issue. There have also been instances where it seems raid fervor gain is being lowered too much and not coming back up. We'll be doing a full pass on every roll boost to ensure they're all granting the correct amount of raid fervor. Okay. We also will be making some adjustments to how raid force works with the intent to help dot damage over time champions shine more in raids. With the next round, we'll be increasing the damage boost to linger for 0.5 seconds after hit to let dot damage ticks also gain the increased damage. How were they not? That's like you have that. If you take a damage over time champion in here and expect, this should have already been. This should be a thing in normal raids. I don't know why this is not Because the thing is that these raids roll, what are they called, the how raid force works. It's been crappy with multiple, the dot ones just have never been good, basically, and that sucks because it wipes out a ton of the pool. Should be a huge bump in the dot champions overall DPS. We'll be watching this one closely, and we'll be looking at more role boosts and more balanced champion pools in the future updates. That's huge because you got to have the pools match the actual fights, and they got to be able to do basically all the fights and Apocalypse. It's okay if one isn't as good for one role, isn't as good for some of the fights, but or like one of the fights, but you got to be able to do most of them pretty well. Otherwise, you're just letting your team down, right? Finally, we'll be adding a champion swap node after first boss of each node path. That is huge. That is huge. That means if you go in there and you take the wrong champion in and you realize that after the first one, you can swap them out. You can have your alliance mates finish off that first boss. Hopefully they have good champions for it, and then you can switch out for the next one and save your revives for the next boss and do that. You know, that is a very big thing. That's something Simula I know has asked for quite a long time, and I think that's great. It does kind of suck that it's not gonna be after every single one, because you know, maybe the champion you brought isn't good for that particular fight you're going against, that particular encounter, Korg or Jabari or Weapon X, but it might be good for the next one, or you might still find them to be good, but it's fine. That's a huge change. It's very good. It's very player positive. We want to see that. That is excellent. So yeah, the thing we've heard that summoners feel that raids punish them if they choose the wrong attacker. Absolutely. While the swap node will not allow you to change your role boost, okay, that's fine. You still have to select the same, you know, someone who will work with that boost. You'll be able to swap out your champion on to an attacker you might feel synergized stronger with your selected boost. These champion swap nodes will be gated via your role the same way as your boost pass, and will only be present in nightmare raids. Okay, I still would like it if it was in regular raids, but regular raids have had enough time to simmer and sit that there should be guides for that, or there should be some pretty good choices. And even if it's your first time doing regular raids, stepping up to that challenge, you're gonna have enough information out there if you go searching for it to be able to correct for that. I would like it in there still for people who don't go on YouTube, who don't do this kind of stuff, don't go on the forums, don't do whatever, but it's at least a very big improvement. So this is everything you can expect to see by the time Nightmare Raids return for round 2. If in upcoming raid weeks, we'll be targeting a few more quality of life changes to aiming at addressing feedback for players before and during a fight. This will come in the form of a new node for any boss with kit changes, like Korg's Purify being removed, called out in a node on the fight. That's good. Okay, more reading. We'll also be doing a large swap of all in-fight HUD elements and aim to improve overall clarity. Good. There's just too many icons to pop up. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. Can't figure out what's going on. Final thing we'll be looking to will be creating a testing map for all summoners to experiment with champ and role boost combinations. We don't expect this to be out within the next few cycles of raids, months away. But we are committed to allowing summoners to ensure they're arming themselves with the best role boost plus champion combo before they get into raids. We'll elaborate more on this as we get closer to the release. That's awesome. That's good. A sandbox to try these things out would be great. I think people just wanted the sandbox in the game for ever for other reasons, but at least this part seems like it'll be a good thing. I am somewhat skeptical of this because of the bloat that it might cause in the game or other issues it might cause introducing this, but we'll see how that goes down. I'm a little bit skeptical, but we'll see what happens. The thing that I would like them to do is to at least be able to put raids on the content creator beta, so that if people wanted to go in there and test out the nodes, we could do that on a testing stream. We could do that in a video. You could have a little bit of guides for that. That would give the content creators something to do for that, to be helpful to the community if they had the time to take to be able to do that. I know it's nicer if everybody could do that themselves, but maybe that way it's less buggy, or it introduces less work, or maybe it just, I don't know how that exactly works with what they can introduce. Because I know they just recently put in like the Necropolis to the content creator program, where now you can test out things in Necropolis, right? So I know they can add things in there. I don't know, maybe that'd be just be easier than doing in the whole game overall, and introduce fewer problem areas. It does then limit it to who can do that testing, but there's a lot of really good content creators out there, much better than me, making really good guides, and I'm sure that would be helpful to them, to the community, because then you could test this out and be like, this guy does this character does this, we like this role raid boost thing with them, roll force, whatever. So yeah, I don't know the best way to do that, but I would be I think that would be at least a good step to start off with that, even if they don't end up doing this, or even if it takes them a while to do this. So that's something I have brought up to them in the past, and we'll bring up to them again. So then finally they say, we know that our players were not happy with round 1 of Nightmare Raids, and we apologize that we missed the mark. Good. They take ownership of it. We're committed to providing a fun and engaging experience to each summoner in the battle realm, and are confident that we'll be able to provide that experience in Nightmare Raids. We hope that you're excited about these changes and the future of raids. Thank you for sticking with us. Look, do they get everything right on the first try? No. Do they usually screw it up on the first try? Yes. Do I wish that more testing had been done? Yes. Do I wish that the changes had been, I don't know, some of the fights, some of the, yes, all these things, they could have been caught. Do I wish that it had taken this long to address this, and that we had to fight as hard as we did as a community on the forums, on Reddit, in the content creator program, and on YouTube, making all these videos? No, I wish we didn't always have to fight. I wish they could just get some of this stuff right the first time. Kabam seems to be continually a company which does the right thing when forced to do the right thing. And I both love that and hate that about them. I love that they correct things and do the right thing. I just really hate that they have to be forced to do it every time. It seems like, what's the saying about, like, I forget, it's about like the military or whoever it is, like, or just Americans in general. I don't know. The Americans will do the right thing once they've tried, exhausted every other option, kind of thing. I forget where that comes from, but you know, it's kind of ridiculous in 2025, after all these years of being with the game and playing it, that we still have to fight for all of these different things every different time. They fix it, and that is great, because some companies wouldn't fix it, and some companies would just tell their customers to go and you know, F off. And so they do fix it, and that is awesome. With that said, I'm still going to be canceling my subscription. This is a good start, but right now I am not in a mood to spend money on this video game. Now, as far as the boycott talks are concerned, I've said before in another video on live streams that I just, you know, I'm not going to tell other people how to spend their money, but personally, I don't feel like spending money on this video game right now. This is a very good start. It is a very good thing that they're listening to the community. They didn't just hear us, they listened, and they sent out good compensation, adequate compensation for what I expected, and I think needed to be done. That said, I just don't feel like spending money on this game right now. And as far as the subscription to the sigil goes, it personally, I still really hate the idea that you have to go and collect the things that you get from this every week. That's just ridiculous. If we go down here and I collect my daily crystal, right? I don't know why I'm collecting this, because I'm not going to spend any money, so I'm not going to get those. So that said, if you go and you purchase something in the game, it shows up immediately in the game, except for, I guess they changed how we're doing this, and now it's in the cart, but still. Check out, and thank you for your purchases. 0 purchase. But if we go and check, then here it is. It is immediately in the game. They just send it to you right away. So the idea that you need to go to the store and the sigil subscription and then claim this is just preposterous to me. I don't understand. If it's a tech limitation, they need to fix that, basically. So that really bugs me about the sigil, but it also just bugs me a ton that the Arena Express mode, as huge of a quality of life improvement it is not just given to everyone else. I have suggested to them that what they could do to improve the sigil or improve the quality of life for everyone is give the Arena Express quality of life update to everyone across the game, because everyone should be able to have that. Arena is, I don't know, probably the most boring game mode. It's the only thing worse than it's maybe like Alliance Quest or something, but it's not like nobody has like a great time grinding Arena. It's something where you put on a stream, you watch me ramble on or play Battlegrounds, or you watch a TV show that you've watched before because you're not paying super close attention to either thing you're doing. Arena is not great, and giving people the Arena Express thing makes it way better. I do not think that should be locked behind a paywall. I do not like that. I do not approve of that with the Summoner Sigil. The thing that I've suggested they could do alternatively to put in the Sigil would be like an Arena blacklist, where you can blacklist teams that have the Enchantress and Serpent, or, you know, Doom, Korg, whoever it is you find have a hard time fighting. That would, I'm sure, take new tech on their part. You have blacklists, or you have bans you can do in Battlegrounds, so I would hope it wouldn't be too difficult for them to do. but that would be a good thing, which I think would be an extra that would be worth paying for. I do not think that the Arena Express should be locked behind a paywall. I think that's just total BS. But in general, I'm just not in a mood to be spending on this video game right now. They've listened to us about Nightmare Raids, and that was great. So they fixed the problem they made for themselves and for us this week, and it should be better going forwards. But we still had a week full of stress and back and forth talking to them about this and all this kind of stuff that just wasn't necessary. It was an unforced error. Kabam is a great company at putting out unforced errors and then fixing them. And I really appreciate them listening. I think they've done a great job, from Crash, Karate Mike, everybody, all the team, all the devs doing great stuff. But it again, it's just another unforced error. And, you know, I'm sure when the next sale comes along, it's a big sale, I'll probably you have that standard fear of missing out. And I understand that. You might too. And like I said, I'm not telling anybody else how to spend their money, but I'm just not in the mood they haven't done enough to show me right now that there's going to be enough changes to make me happy. I want to see what the changes are going to be to the Gladiator circuit. I want to see how that works. I want to see how some things are going to change with Battlegrounds in general. I want to see the Valiant event quest. I want to see how they change rewards updates. And I want to see communications about that. And I want to see just more in general before I feel good like spending on this hobby again. Because for right now, I just don't want to. I don't. There's other things I can spend my money on. I don't have a lot of money to spend on this. And part of my spending, I justify to myself as because I make YouTube videos and make money off YouTube, I can do it that way. But like, even with that, I don't know, I'm tired of the unforced errors. I'm tired of them always having to fix things. I'm tired of the just consistent lack of changes that need to be made that they just don't do. I think if you didn't see it, Cam made an absolutely great video about the state of the game in general too, and things that he was upset about or how things go. And I would watch that. I will actually link that in the description so you guys can see that if you just missed that. And yeah, we're going to be the season 27 of Battlegrounds is kicking off right now. I'll be playing Battlegrounds tonight on my stream. Feel free to come by and talk with us about that. Come by and have a drink. Come by and talk about how you feel about these changes to Nightmare Raids and the game in general. Are you going to be spending? What do you want to do? What do you guys want to do going forward? And hopefully, I want things to always be fun. I want to try and create a good environment on my streams. I want to just have a good time. And it's so exhausting and tiresome when we have to deal with this kind of stuff on a very consistent basis. And having that negativity from people reflected towards me in chat, I then feel like I reflect that out back and carry that with me. And it's you know, you make fun of it, say it's silly, whatever, but it's something that weighs on me and it's something that I feel, and it's part of why I'm not feeling great about the game in general right now. And I do like being there though for you guys to come and share that, because I think it's important to have a space to do that. And so come by the streams and comment on this video. Make sure you liked it, subscribed, all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about this more in the future. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I see you sometime soon. Okay? Cheers.